Good morning. Welcome to practice. Looking around at things that we'll need today, and as usual, let's have some blocks and let's focus on breath. So find a comfortable seated position. Let the crown of your head reach towards the ceiling. Sense some length in the back of your neck. Sense your seat settling into your seat beneath you, into the floor beneath you, into a pillow beneath you. And begin to bring your attention to the fullness of your breath. Sense as you inhale the fullness in your ribs, and with your exhale, that sense of grounding, that sense of settling into your seat beneath you. And then listen and look a little closer at the movement of your breath in your body and see if you can notice the movement of your diaphragm. So as you inhale, you can sense your diaphragm draw down to make space for your lungs to expand. And then as you exhale, you can sense your diaphragm lift up to help move that air out of your lungs. All right, so let's put our hands together, bring your chin to your chest, and as always, remind yourself that you're here to move in ways that make sense for your body. This is a basic level yoga class. The movements that we do will be helping to aid towards back bending. That does not mean that we're going to do any back bends in the traditional gymnastic sort of way. But we will be working through shoulders, opening shoulders. We'll be helping to create some length in our low back. So let's slowly make our way to our mat and move any props or anything out of the way and lay down on your back. Let's extend our heels as far away from us as we can. Reach our arms up and over our heads. Make yourself nice and long. Good, let the yawns come. Let the morning sensations enter your body. Maybe reach one heel as farther away from the your center of your body, and then reach the other heel farther away from the center of your body. And then with care, just again, settling the whole length of your body into the floor. Good. All right, let's bring the soles of our feet flat to the floor and take your feet as wide as your mat. And then just with ease, you're going to tip your knees from side to side, bringing some mobility to your hips. Sense the connection of your feet with the floor. Notice as your toes tip from one side to the other and how your feet feel as they rock from side to side in your mat. And then let your mind's eye move its gaze to your hips and noticing that movement in your hips. Good. Take one more to each side, one more tip to each side. And then bring your knees back towards the center. Good. All right, let's connect again with our inhale and our exhale. So your inhale, you're reaching your fingertips up and over your head. And your exhale, your arms are coming back down to the floor. Your inhale, your arms are up and over your head. And then exhale, bring them down. So again, this is now movement through your shoulder joint. So be aware of that movement through your arms and through your shoulders. Sense how that feels, but stay connected to your breath. Only lift your fingers up off the floor if you've already begun your inhale. And then only lower your palms back to the floor after you've begun your exhale. So continue to listen, continue to be aware of your breath leading your movement. Exhale, palms come back to the floor. Inhale, arms up and over your head. So now this time we're going to leave our arms up and over our head. And with our exhale, our elbows are going to bend. So they're going to slide along the floor. With your inhale, your fingertips try to meet back up and over your head. Your exhale, your elbows bend. Again, sensing this movement through your shoulders. Maybe you can notice that there's some stretching in the front side of your arms, and there's movement of your scapula on your back. And maybe you can keep your fingertips on the floor as you bend your elbows with your exhale, or maybe you have to lift your fingertips off the floor. Maybe your elbows aren't touching. Be aware of all of these movements in your body or the flexibility in your body as you exhale to bend your arms and inhale to straighten your arms and letting your fingertips meet up and over your head. Exhale, bending, squeezing, sense the scapula. Maybe you can even sense the stretch through your bicep. Inhale, straighten. And exhale again. Feel that movement all the way through the front side of your chest, through your bicep, as you squeeze your elbows down towards your side body. And then again, inhale, fingertips reach over your head. Good. With your next exhale, you're just gently bending your elbows. And we're going to stay connected to the movement of our arms and the movement of our breath. So our inhale, our fingertips are touching the floor. So we're sort of like our arms are at a goalpost. And then with the exhale, let your palms come down to the floor. Inhale, open. So again, we're just working through those shoulder joints. And then exhale, letting your fingertips, maybe they can't touch down to the floor. Maybe your palms can't touch down to the floor. That's okay. And inhale, fingertips touch back to the floor. Exhale, palms down. And when you begin your inhale, palms up, fingertips touching, finding that cactus pose. Exhale, letting your low back settle its way down towards the floor. And then inhale, arms rise up into your cactus position. One more time, exhaling and letting your back body settle down towards the floor. And then inhale, open up. And complete that inhale by sliding those fingertips up and over your head. We're going to begin to add the movement of our hips. So reaching your fingertips up and over your head, let's push our feet through the floor. And with your inhale, lift those hips up. So we're in a bridge. Sense the back of your head settling into the floor beneath you. Sense the location of where your shoulders are pushing through the floor. And then when we exhale, we're sensing our belly button trying to find its way back down to the floor. Our palms are following and lowering our palms back to the floor. So inhale, rise up, lift. Let your hips follow. Let your arms reach over your head. And exhale, belly button is dropping down towards the floor. Inhale, rise up, lift your hips off the floor. And then exhale, slowly sense your vertebrae by vertebrae, lowering your way back down to the mat. Inhale, sense your vertebrae, lift up, lifting slowly off the floor, fingertips reaching their way up and over your head. And then again, exhale with care, lowering your arms, your palms back to the floor, hips down. One more time. Inhale, reach those arms up. And with your exhale, stay. So letting the connection of your feet feel strong, sensing the strength in the back side of your body as your heels push your feet through the floor and finding power and strength in the back side of your body. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Good. Staying, observing how the movement of your breath affects your posture, maybe the hollowing out of your belly as you exhale, and the filling of your lungs and the lifting sense as you inhale. Good. And again, with your next exhale, slowly lower your spine all the way back down to the floor. Good. Nicely done. All right. So let's reach our fingertips up towards the ceiling. We're going to start to activate our core or our abdominal strength. And one foot, see how I have a right angle? My knee is not with my heel drop. My knee is at a right angle. So my knee is over my hip and my heel is making my calf parallel with the floor. I'm going to do the same thing with my other leg. So it's almost like I'm seated in a chair with my feet flat to the floor and my hips settled into a seat. So this simple motion will help you to turn on the strength in your core. You're pushing your palms towards the ceiling. And when we exhale, I want you to sense you pushing your palms into the floor if we were on all floors. And as you inhale, lower your head back down to the floor and sense your shoulders fall back down into the floor, keeping your arms straight. So exhale, lift the back of your head up off the floor. Sense a little shaking in the strength in your core. And inhale, lower your shoulders back down to the floor. Keep your palms pushing flat towards the ceiling. Good. Exhale, push up. Belly button draws down towards your spine behind you. And inhale, lower down. Let's do 3 or 4 more, just like that. Exhale, push up. Inhale, drop down. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Exhale. This should feel like work. Inhale. Slowly lower your feet back to the floor, but keep your arms up and over your head. Let's take our right hand and tuck it underneath your right elbow. Your left elbow. Good. And let the top and bottom arms push into one another, just gently, just so that you can feel the strength in your arms. And maybe you're also sensing the strength in your core. Good. Inhale and open your arms nice and wide. Good. Exhale, cross your right arm over your left arm now and find a gentle pressure as you push your arms into one another, turning on the strength in your core. And inhale, open your arms. Good. Exhale now, right arm underneath our left arm and push your arms into one another, actively turning on the strength in your core. Inhale, open. Good. Again, exhale, right arm on top, left arm underneath. And inhale, open. Last one, inhale, exhale. Bring your hands together, keep them crossed, and then we're gonna bend our elbows. So the back sides of our elbows are facing one another. And try to bring your fingertips towards one another with the backs of your hands facing one another. So you should feel a gentle stretch through the back side of your body. So sensing where your scapula are on your back. Maybe they're gently lifting away from the floor to help your elbows lock into one another and the backs of your hands draw together. Good. Inhale, release. Let your arms go nice and wide. Good. Now this time, we're going to bring the left arm underneath. Good. Sense that gentle bending of your elbows. Good. And again, we're going to let the back sides of our hands face one another and push them into one another. Good. And remember that inhale, you feel that fullness through your ribs. And your exhale, maybe a note of an awareness of bearing down or the strength in your core as you try to bring in the back sides of your hands together. Good. Inhale. Sense the expansion through your ribs. And then exhale. Work that strength through your core, bringing your fingertips towards one another, the back sides of your hands towards one another. And this time, as we inhale, release. Good. So as I mentioned, we're bringing some awareness to our shoulders. Good. And now we're going to do just this motion of hug yourself. Good. And then inhale, release. So now the other arm is on top. Left arm is on top, right arm underneath. Squeeze towards your fingertips towards your midline on your back. And inhale, open. Exhale, cross those arms, squeeze. Good, and inhale, open. Nicely done. All right, good. Let's make our way slowly onto our side. So we're going to go onto all fours. So checking in again, making sure that we always set up on all fours with your palms underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And we're just gently rocking slowly from side to side. So again, be aware of your shoulders in space. Be aware of the movement of your hips as it takes you gently from side to side. Good. And now let's do a little motion of forward and back. We're not going all the way back to child's pose. We're not going all the way forward where you feel compromised through your wrists. Just sensing the movement of forward and back. Good. And then let's sense that motion of side to side. Good. Forward and back. Good. And side to side. Good. Noticing how your hips move as they move from side to side. Good. Now we're going to take these movements of forward and back a little bit more extremely or fully. So we're going to exhale back, letting your hips reach their way behind you, but keep your palms on the floor. So we're letting your tailbone reach towards the tips of your toes. Remember, when you inhale, you sense the fullness through your ribs, and as you exhale, your belly button is drawing towards your spine, helping you create more length in your low back. And in your inhale, draw forward. Good. Exhale, letting your tailbone guide the way, letting your belly button soften towards your spine. Creating some length. Hopefully you sense the length through your shoulders, keeping your palms staying connected with the floor. Inhale, draw forward. Exhale, shift back. Good. This time as we inhale, draw forward, we're going to let our hips drop down. If you need to move either your hands or your knees to help you make space, to draw forward and let your hips drop down, you may. Remember, this is the inhale motion, so our lungs are helping us to lift here and stay out of our low back. And then as we exhale, our belly button is helping to draw us back into our child's pose. Seeking that length and space through your shoulders. Inhale. Lungs are lifting, shoulders and ribs lifting, keeping some length so that we're not falling into your low back. Good. Exhale, sense the strength in your belly button. Help you to draw back and lengthen your tailbone behind you. Connecting the wholeness of your palms through the floor and stretching through your shoulders. Inhale, draw forward, lifting through your lungs, lifting your rib cage up off of your hips, creating length in your low back. And then exhale, last one, sitting ourselves back. Good. All right. So again, we've been working on that movement through our shoulders, that movement and an action coordinated with our breath. So now I'm going to ask you to take your right hand and place it flat to the floor, almost like a push-up position. But I want it to be in line with your nipple line or your armpit, not up towards your head. Good. And then your left hand is going to be far away from you on the floor. It's going to be straight. So your right arm is bent, your left arm is straight. And remember we talked about moving side to side. So now we're going to move side. We're going to let our right hip drop down to the floor. Our right hand is helping to keep us stable, pushing that palm through the floor. Good. And our left arm is reaching away. And now that we know what the position of our body is, we're going to focus on our breath to help us with a nice deep twist through our hips. So inhale fully. Sense your ribs expand. And as you exhale, sense that twist as your right palm pushes through the floor, and then your gaze can look gently towards the ceiling. Good. And exhale, sink a little bit more deeply. Sense where your scapula or the bones on your back are, and helping them send themselves deeply onto your back. And inhale, sense that expansion through your ribs. Good, big full breath. And then the exhale help you fall more deeply through your hip, letting your right hip sink down to the floor. Good. With your next exhale, let's shift your weight back to the middle. Nice job. Reach those palms up forward in front of you, and then inhale. Come on forward. Let your lungs help you float up and off of your hips. Good, into that cobra pose. And then exhaling, drawing your belly back behind you, helping you to lengthen your spine and lengthen through your low back as you sense that great big stretch through your shoulders as your fingertips reach away from you. Now again, here's that side to side motion. So you're going to bend your left hand and straighten your right arm as you let your left hip sink down towards the floor. Good. So you'll feel a stretch through your left hip. You'll feel power and strength through your left hand. And then we're going to connect with our breathing. So this is a gentle but deep stretch. So letting your gaze look over towards the left hand, letting the crown of your head extend away from the base of the backside of your left hip. Inhale, fully expand your ribs. And then exhale deeply, sit more deeply into that left hip. Inhale fully. Good, and exhale completely. Feel that twist through your torso as your gaze looks gently towards the ceiling. Nice. With your next inhale, help yourself float back towards the midline, reaching your fingertips along the front ridge of your mat. And then inhale, shift forward, tuck your toes under, and then exhale, shift back. Good. So as I mentioned, we're making our way surprisingly towards some back bending here. So that cobra position that we've been in helps support that back bend. But in order to help us with those back bends, we also need to help ourselves through our shoulders. So we were warming up those shoulders, sitting down in all fours. Now exhale, shift back, child's pose. Inhale, shift yourself forward. Find your way moving towards that cobra pose, actively pushing your palms through the floor, helping you to lengthen, helping your inhale to fully lift you up and away from your mat, out of your low back. Tuck your toes under here and exhale, shift back to a down dog. Lengthening the back sides of your legs, bringing some awareness to your rib cage as you inhale fully. And then with your exhale, helping you to lengthen the back sides of your legs. Good. Inhale, shift yourself forward to a plank. Good. So sensing that strength in the full length of your body, the whole front side of your body. Good. Exhale, slowly lower yourself down onto the floor. Good, and we're gonna let those elbows come underneath you. So again, just like we were doing with the cobra pose, rocking forward and backwards, we're inhaling, lifting up, and sensing your ribs help you to float out of your low back. Connect the fullness of your palms to the floor, and let's let our gaze look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to the middle. And then let your gaze look over the right shoulder. Hoping that we're sensing that stretching through the spaces in our neck, all the way to the tips of our shoulders, maybe even through your side body. Inhale back to the middle. Good. And then let's slide our palms underneath our armpits in line with that nipple line again. And really, with awareness, roll your shoulder blades onto your back, helping yourself to feel like your tops of your shoulders are not rolling down into the floor, but instead that they're rolling onto your back. Your palms are pushing through the floor. And let's pay attention to the movement of our breath and what happens as we inhale, sensing our rib cage expand through the floor behind us, but also up towards the ceiling. And then the exhale, drawing your belly button away from the floor. Good, and maybe your thighs push more deeply into the floor. So now let's inhale, push through your palms and lift your chest up slightly. And then exhale, sensing again your thighs maybe feel more active with your exhale as your belly button draws away from the floor. Inhaling, rising up, lifting your ribs up off of your hips and away from the mat. And exhale down. Good. Now this time, as we inhale, let's lift our right leg up off the floor, lifting your ribs away from your hips. And then exhale, lower down. So we'll do the same thing again. Roll those shoulders onto your back. Squeeze your scapula on your back. Inhale. Let your ribs flow up and away. Your heels off the floor. Your heels reaching towards the ceiling. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale. Right leg up with your chest lifting up off the floor. Exhale, lower down. Left side, inhale, rise up. Good, and exhale, lower down. Good, I'm going to take my right arm and reach it as far away from me as I can. Using my left hand, I'm going to help myself push onto my right side. Good, and then I'm going to let this left knee bend. And let the inner edge of my left foot find its way to the floor. So I'm going to push my left hand through the floor, push the inner edge of my left foot through the floor. But I'm looking to create length from the tip of my left knee to the tips of my right fingers. So creating a lot of length, looking for like a sense of a back bend here. Good, and then exhale, bring myself back to the floor, letting my forehead rest on the floor. Inhale, push through that left hand and let the inner edge of your left foot find its way to the floor. Again, reaching and lengthening, letting the tips of your fingers and the tips of your knee be as far away from each other as you can. And then exhale, close yourself back down. Good, we'll do the same thing to the other side. So left hand reaches, and then you're gonna take your right hand, push it through the floor, and tip over, letting your right inner edge of your foot find its way to the floor, creating lots of length from the tip of your knee to the tips of your your left fingertips. Good, and then exhale, fall back down to the floor. Inhale, push through that right hand, bend that knee, creating lots of length here. And then exhale, lower back down. Nice. All right, with the strength through your chest, push yourselves back up, bringing yourself to all fours. And then we're going to bring ourselves to a kneeling position. So what I'm hoping that we discover here is we've been doing a lot of things to open up this space here in our shoulders. We've been doing a lot of stuff to help us create distance between the bottom ridge of your ribs, and the top ridge of your hips. So here's our last pose. Inhale, let the crown of your head reach towards the ceiling. Good, tuck those toes under. Inhale, let your arms come up. Good, and exhale. We're gonna let our right hand reach towards our heel on the right side, and our left hand reach up towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, exhale, bring yourself back to kneeling. Inhale, let your right arm reach up and your left hand reach for this heel behind you. Good, and then exhale, come up. It could just be that you're inhaling, arms up over your head, and then exhale, push your hips away from you and reaching your heart center towards the ceiling. Good, one more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Good, and then lower your hips down towards the floor. Taking a moment here to settle, sensing the openness and the space in your shoulders, the weight of your hips settling into your heels. And then let's bring our palms to our heart center and our chin to our chest. And let's take our moment here to remind ourselves to seek light where we can find it, seek change, and appreciate the time that we take to work on ourselves so that we can be better in our daily lives for one another. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.